In our interview this week, we conclude the conversation with the Vice Chairman of the National Food Security Council, Governor Abubakar Bagudu of Kebbi State, on the recently approved National Livestock Transformation Plan. Watch. So the plan really looks like a means to an end to resolve the farmers-herders crisis.
It's an element.
How is this going to happen?
If you focus on the person who is moving around with cows or sheep or goat, be he, whether you call him a shepherd or, which is the biblical term, or herdsperson, he's pursuing an economic activity consistent with his level of understanding. It's our duty. The society owes him an obligation to help him do it better. Just like society owes a duty to the farmers, to the fishermen, to help them do it better, to help them migrate from what they used to do in the old days, which cannot be supported anymore.
So what would be the new ways?
The new way is to invest in them. Maybe he's coming from a place where there's no water.
Okay.
So help him with water in that place where he might even be more comfortable. And because Nigeria is a federation, everywhere can go legally and decide where he wants. If he or she takes a board in a place that she likes, help them to do it legally, consistent with the law, and make it available to him, he or her, so that he will have enough investment.
So all of this, you're going to make it happen through investors, or there's a certain amount, because we don't know how much is going to be designated for this, or how much is, we're looking at to make this happen, or how many investors are already lined up for this purpose?
The first element is the recognition that maybe, come to think of it, maybe we have not been dealing with this program, with this issue in the way we used to. Like I said, even to recognize that it's no different from what our fishermen are facing. Fishing community, freshwater bodies are disappearing. What do we do to train them so that they can transit to modern ways of fishing, fish farming? Because they can't, and this is across the country. The Ogonai fisherman is prostrated. The Ijo fishing community are prostrated. Baga in Lake Chad, all the fishing communities are prostrated. It's the same thing in Taraba, in Benue, in Kebbi State. So it's the same thing in the livestock sector. Many people have chosen, either have inherited it or have chosen it as a way of life. So we should help them do it properly, do it well, so that it will not be in conflict with other land users, because it's a win-win situation. It can be done, but we need to recognize it as such. We need to recognize that we need to invest in it, to educate them.
Well, you have secured about 24 gazetted reserves. Tell us about it. I describe it, like I said, there was a time when in most parts of the country there are areas which have been clearly designated. That was then, maybe from the colonial time to post-independence time. But everything is being affected by urbanization. Sure. There was a time in our history when Abuja does not exist in the way it does. So maybe somebody who is transiting with sheep or goats will not face a lot of the buildings, but things have moved on. So yes, it is a recognition that there was a time when we have gazetted lands designated for this economic activity. Even if you can't restore them, but maybe it's a pointer to what we have done wrong. Recognizing that this is an economic activity that should take place in designated places. Somehow the change was not managed very well. and the consequence are that it's being done not in the best way, and it's causing conflicts.
In how many years do you see us achieving a successful ranching system?
I think you still insist. It's not successful ranching system. Is investing, and I meant it, investing in the livestock sector, so that those people who choose, there might be many people are in the livestock sector who are not Fulanis, for example. Those people who choose it as a way of life, that household that want rare chickens cannot be supported anymore with chickens roaming about. They need to be supported so that they can produce more chickens in confined space. That's the only way we can compete. Those who are doing goats, the same thing. They can't rear goats by letting them around the village anymore. There's no such. This is what I'm sure is not strange to you, but now it's not possible. So society to recognize that we have an obligation to help all economic groups to respond to change continuously is one of the key objects of governance, and I'm glad President Muhammadu Buhari is leading the way for us to do it.
You see, in 2017, National Economic Council approved $1 billion from the excess security account for the purpose of security, and also, of course, this is also has to do with farmers and herders crisis and all of that. And so we saw a situation where we wanted to use this huge amount of money to do something. When last was this ever discussed in the National Economic Council?
I think the National Economic Council have been very, very fortunate to have the Vice President, Professor Yomi Osibajo, to borrow from the Honorable Minister of Agriculture's description of an industrious person who somehow confuses you whether he's a professor of law or professor of economics. In their interconnected manner, security relates to conflicts, and so, and it's true, the state governors at one time passed a resolution saying that the federal government can take $1 billion from the excess crude account in order to support the security services with more equipment in order to respond better to the challenge. And I'm sure the processes are going on, but $1 billion is big money, but it's little compared to the scale of need. We need billions of dollars in order to address some of the problems that we have, particularly in the economic sector. Countries with whom we are competing spend multiples of what we are spending to invest in those sectors, whether it is farming.
So now that we have a fraction of what countries spend, what have we used that fraction to do?
I don't have the details, but like I said, I'm sure I know that the processes are ongoing, and I don't have the details of what procurement is taking place from which country or from which. Some of it is not publicly available information.
Thank you very much, Governor Abubakar Bagudu, for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for your mails and tweets, as always. Keep sending in your views and comments using the email address and Twitter handle on your screen. Also, be sure to share anything happening within your locality. Don't forget, you can view the program on youtube.com/channelsweb/videos. Thank you for watching this week. I'm Gloria Umezike. See you again.